going to continue on the sustainability track, which is powered by Native Trails, with this next session, European Kitchen Furniture. Ecodesign for sustainable products. What it is, why it matters, and how it's different. We definitely want to thank Native Trails, by the way, for sponsoring the entire sustainability track on the KBIS Next Stage this year, and I know they have an important story to tell. So let's welcome to the stage the founder and CEO of Native Trails to talk about the Native Trails sustainability mission, and to introduce our next session is Naomi Nilsson.
Okay, hello, great to be here. Won't take up a whole lot of your time, but we have a quick little video sharing our company story with you.
My name is Naomi Nielsen, and I'm the founder of Native Trails. Native Trails combines age-old artisan tradition with sustainable materials. Within that realm, we create sophisticated and functional kitchen and bath designs that we're proud to share with the world. Ever since I was a little girl, my passion was traveling, exploring, and learning about other cultures. It started with going down to Mexico with my family, where I was always lured into these craft markets that we'd come across. And I was enamored by the people and what they were making and selling. Over time, that grew into the idea that if I could somehow connect these people with a bigger market for their goods, it could potentially make a big impact on their lives. This is where the inspiration for Native Trails came from, and that's where the idea of a collaborative team began.
Okay, so we started working in Mexico with artisans almost 30 years ago. Now we're working with artisans all over the world, including right near our headquarters in California. This bathtub, I'm just going to kind of go over some of our newer products and give you a little overview of what we do. This is made from native stone, which is a sustainable concrete material. It combines cement with natural jute fiber, and the fiber reinforces the concrete, and it makes it quite a bit lighter. It's in fact about 40% lighter than standard concrete. So it's a much easier product to transport, to install, to work with overall. And this is our new terracotta finish. This is another material that we work with. This is 100% recycled copper. And this is part of our original collections from Mexico. And this is all entirely handmade by artists in central Mexico. We have a pretty extensive line of kitchen sinks, bathroom sinks, bathtubs, and all of these materials. This is another recycled copper sink. It doesn't look like copper because it's plated in nickel. And we're always looking for materials that might be destined for the landfill, something that we can give a second life to. And since we're based in Central California, right in the heart of the wine country, we found that winemaking materials are abundant, and these oak staves that are used in this vanity, after the winemakers are finished with them, after about 9 months, they typically discard them. They send to the landfill or incinerate them. We found a way to reclaim them and turn them into this beautiful bath furniture. And this is actually the same material. These are also winemaking oak staves, and we've finished them an entirely different way to give it a much more contemporary look. This is we call it our winemaker series. Another example of some of the furniture that we make for the bathroom. This is not reclaimed wood, but this is solid walnut, and it's FSC certified. So it's certifiably sustainable. And this is another one of our native stone products. This is a new sink that we've just come out with called Natoma, just a cute little wall mount. Our native stone comes in 10 finishes and lots of different sizes. And this is Arcata, a really pretty undermount trough-style sink for the bathroom. And just a little glimpse of our new sage finish. So all of these are viewable in our booth in the North Hall, 1863, if anyone wants to see more. But I just want to say that we are really honored to be here sponsoring the sustainability track. This topic is very near and dear to our hearts. I would say that sustainability is definitely part of the heart and soul of Native Trails. It's really who we are. In fact, in 2019, we decided to go through the rigorous process of becoming a certified B Corporation because we wanted to hold ourselves accountable, hold ourselves publicly accountable, but also to ourselves as we grow as a company to make sure that we always stay on track and to make sure that we continue to place people and the planet to keep that as one of our highest values as we grow. So I would say the B Corporation motto of using business as a force for good is something that I very strongly believe in. And I definitely believe I'm not the only one that feels that way here today. So I think we will now go on to introduce, in the previous session, you heard about the Windsor Declaration, right? That was that incredible initiative demonstrating the bath industry's concern for the pressing issues of water scarcity and antimicrobial resistance. Well, we can certainly learn a lot from our European friends. And in the next panel, we're going to move from water issues to discussing European kitchen furniture, eco-design for sustainable products, what it is, why it matters, and how it's different. So now I would like to invite the moderator of this panel, Ken Bush, NKBA Global Connect Advisor and founder of Material Intelligence, and his panelists. We have Jan Kurth, CEO, the Association of the German Furniture Industry. We have Jeremy Parcels, Principal Designer of Parcels Design Studio. Dwayne Lusk, Principal at Kitchen Logistics. And Alina Zelbach, Head of Business at TÜV Rheinland. Welcome everyone to the stage and have a great discussion.
Thank you. Hello everybody, good afternoon and thank you. The title of this panel discussion is European Kitchen Furniture, Ecodesign for Sustainable Products. What it is, why it matters, and how it's different. I'm a journalist, I'm not a woodworker, I'm not a designer. I've been covering this industry since 1990 for a furniture magazine and then later interior design magazines. One of my first assignments right out of college was to solve the question, will European kitchens ever come to America? And so it's been a journey. But almost 40 years later, we are closer and closer to an answer. I think that's absolutely yes. So my job is to keep the conversation going, but what we want to do is start with a little bit of background on what European kitchen furniture is, where it comes from, and why it is sort of the world leader in sort of design and function today. So I'm going to invite Jan Kurth, the CEO of the VDM, which is the German Furniture Manufacturers Association, to give us a primer from which then we can have a very spirited discussion about how European kitchens offer a big opportunity for dealers and distributors in North America. So I'll leave it to Jan.
Okay, thank you very much, Ken. Good afternoon, everybody. It's really great to be here at this great show, second time for me, but it's even more impressive than the last time. I would like to take you in the next minutes through, let's say, the short history of European kitchen. Where does it come from? Where is it now? And what aspects are relevant for European kitchen? I'm from Germany, so please excuse my German accent. I try to make it as clear as possible. Yeah, let's make a short journey throughout the last, 120 years. So if you look at this picture where it all began, 1900, this was kitchen production, at least in Germany, but maybe in many European countries. It was craftsmanship, it was special items, small volumes, small companies, really craftsmanship, quite individual. And this, of course, developed throughout the past century. And this is really the beginning of European kitchen. I don't know if anybody of you ever heard of Frankfurt kitchen. So that is the Frankfurter Küche. That is really the beginning of what we now know as European kitchen, not in these small dimensions, but in the concept. Concept meaning there is a room quite efficiently organized where you have all your stuff together, where you can prepare food and where it's really easy to work for the housewives these days. Yes, it was the housewives only that had to spend their time in a kitchen. It was really small, 6.5 square meters. That was the original concept of Frankfurt kitchen these days. And this, of course, developed throughout the last centuries. But it's really important to show that this concept is really, 100 years old now. So the idea was cities grew, people needed space for living, small flats these days, and of course then kitchen should have been small, but anyhow quite efficient. And this, of course, was only the beginning, and then it developed throughout the last centuries. Private homes got bigger, people got wealthier, and then, of course, kitchen got bigger, but didn't lose their, let's say, efficient way, how is it organized inside the kitchen. What you see here was really sort of revolution in the 60s. It was the first handleless kitchen that was produced in Germany by a company called Simatic, still on the market now. And this was really, let's say, a really modern design in the 60s. And you can see here, when it began, that the kitchen became a sort of center of your home. It was not only a small place where you prepare your food, but also a place where you sit down with your family, at least for a small lunch. So kitchen got bigger and got more and more in the center of your home. And that's where we are now these days. This is European kitchen with really modern approach, modern design, quite cozy. This is really home kitchen, the center of your home, where you prepare your food together with your family, where you gather with your friends, and where you invite your friends too, to be really proud of this heart of your home. Sit down at the table for the rest of the evening, have a glass of wine, enjoy the food you just prepared. And this is really individual kitchen production, what you see here. It looks really individual, and it is individual because it's designed for your private individual home. And who does this production in Europe? This is just one chart I brought with me. It's really the only one, just to show you what is European kitchen production. It is sort of volume of some 20 billion euros in Europe, and it's two countries mainly that are responsible for European kitchen production. It's Italy with a share of some 20%, and then it's Germany with more than double, it's 40% of the production. These two countries, they stand for European kitchen production. And the reason why is there is a special way how you produce European kitchen. When you look inside a modern kitchen production, this is what you see. It's really, let's say, robotics, it's CNC controlled machinery. It has nothing to do anymore with these pictures we saw before, the craftsmanships, when it all began in the 1900s. It's really high volume companies that still produce individual components and products, but it's really efficient the way you produce it. It's different parts, and it's really high-tech robotic controlled production, and that's why the production is so efficient and is so quality oriented. I show you some quality aspects afterwards. So first aspect you have to keep in mind is modern production means efficient productions with a high quality standard. And kitchen production is not only machinery, but is also quite the same importance is logistics. Because you have to remember that you have to put all these different items together that comes out of this modern production to assemble it in the end to your individual kitchen you have just designed and fitted into your private homes. So every home is different, and therefore every kitchen is different. And that's what we do inside the production lines. We produce the components and put it all together in the end, and therefore you need really high-tech logistics in the end so that every kitchen has the components it's needed and it really fits into your private home. So production and logistics, two aspects that are really important. And what is not less important, even more important, is the quality aspect. Quality when it comes to production, so there is a sort of permanent testing inside the production process. Does the product really fulfill all the needs it has to fulfill, all the norms that are in Germany, for example, but also in Europe, that cupboards does not fall from the wall and they really fit together and there is a long-lasting quality. So this is quality control inside the production process, but also quality control inside the installation process. When it comes to the installation of the wooden parts inside your private home, there is high quality for the experts that do the installation. Is really a valuable job that has been done when installing a kitchen with all these different parts. Wooden parts is important. Stone materials needs other aspects, or other aspects are important for installation of stone parts. And then, of course, it's electric components like ovens, like fridges, and all these other electric components. So they all have to fit together to make your perfect kitchen and at home. So these quality aspects throughout the whole product processment from production down to installation, it's really key that you have to fulfill all these quality aspects. And now this is a little bit a younger development. There is, of course, the question of sustainability and circularity. I don't know if you have heard of the Green Deal in Europe. That is what we fulfill inside the production process, and of course all the aspects that products have to fulfill. Save energy in producing these products, make sure that the wooden parts, that the source of the wooden parts come from sustainable forests, for example, see that there is a sort of recycling process afterwards, that there is a possibility to repair your products, that you can really have a long-lasting product in the end. So sustainability is key at the moment. We all are putting very much effort on these sustainability and circularity aspects. They are really important, and I think they will become even more important in the future. So it's really a very important aspect. And there you can see here, I will not go in every detail, but still there is sort of circularity aspects when it comes to the design of the product. You have to fulfill the needs that different components can be easily adjusted or reassembled afterwards. They are not glued together, but better stick together, for example. That there is a sort of less energy and less material inside the production process. You have to take care about distribution processes. And then, of course, when it comes to repairing or refurbishment of the product, it has fulfill all these needs. And what do you need to fulfill all these needs? You have to use data for it. So we are coming to a process now where we are preparing a sort of digital product passport that comes with every product on the market, showing what is inside, what can you use it for, how can it be repaired, and how can it be recycled afterwards. So a sort of passport on digital level that really follows the products and follows all the value chain line that you are really safe to fulfill all the needs you have to fulfill. So these are some aspects that are relevant for European kitchen production. I would just like to touch only upon a few of them because there is a discussion afterwards, and thanks very much for listening at this moment. Thank you.
Thank you, Jan. There's a great history of the evolution of the German kitchen, the European kitchen. Ecodesign is in the title of this presentation. There are so many different ways to talk about sustainability. I produce CEU content about sustainable forestry and the carbon cycle and wood products. And so I know just starting from the fact that we are all working with wood gives us an unfair advantage in the sustainability story, because wood is literally 50% naturally captured carbon by weight. So if we're talking about the carbon footprints of materials, wood's already ahead of the game by far. But there are other ways to talk about sustainability: long-term durability, future-proof functionality, ease of cleaning. And I've noticed in my work in the sustainability world, health and wellness now becomes the umbrella term for when we talk about sustainability. Somebody might automatically just bring up indoor air quality, which technically is not sustainability, but it is a health and wellness issue. So I think we have to think of this as all one big topic. So I'm going to introduce the rest of our panel here, and then we're going to get into some more of these deeper dive topics based on Jan's presentation. So starting from my far right, your left, Alina Zalbach. She is with TÜV Rheinland. It's T-U-V. I had to learn to pronounce it TÜV. I'm going to give her just a bit of time to talk about the standards and the practices that you, Alina, are in charge of monitoring and holding the European kitchen suppliers to.
Yeah, thank you, Ken. I'm glad to be here today. I indeed introduce today the company TÜV Rheinland. So we are German in heart, but actually global. This is the company with a long history, over 150 years by now, and we basically move together with the economics and needs on the market and the industry. We started with introducing quality and safety. So these are the key words for our company: quality and safety for the steam boilers in the age of quick industrial jumps to ensure the safety of people working. Currently, within the years, we moved towards the products and product safety. So things that we use every day that surround us and influence our safety and health. So the furniture part, this is what I'm responsible for, taking care of the business unit, furniture in Europe, and kitchen is one of the biggest, one of the most important parts of that. What we do is basically working very closely with the industry, with the producers, with the manufacturers, and helping them also during the design of the product and development of the product to ensure the safety and quality of it. That means we also testing and certifying the materials that are used, also the components, like if we're talking about the kitchen, so the hinges and everything that comes together, as well as the final product. So the furniture part, for example, we have multiple standards. No, the German manufacturer has to go through. That's also maybe a very significant difference, I would say, from the European kitchen, because they really start with ensuring the safety and quality of the product already during the design phase, during the supply chain, while buying and sourcing reliable and safe materials, and going into production of the safe furniture parts, which we also then test. And we test also durability, sustainability, so all those processes, which also Jan just mentioned. That's where TÜV Rheinland is becoming like a partner for each manufacturer, and so that's about it, I would say.
You weren't crazy about this comparison, but it's a little bit like Under Rogers Laboratories, I think, the work that you do certifying the safety and the functionality.
Yes, correct. This is testing, inspection, and certification industry, as it is. Exactly. So TÜV Rheinland is very big in Germany, in Europe. However, as I mentioned, we are global. So meaning also helping companies also with their products to go abroad and comply with the local standards and requirements.
And next to Alina is Dwayne Lusk. He's with Kitchen Logistics, and he's also a Nobilia Kitchens distributor in North America. Give us a few words about what you do, Dwayne.
Okay. Hello, my name is Dwayne Lusk, and you can probably tell I'm from the biggest German province, Texas. So we're located just outside of Dallas. My partners and I started this business to bring European kitchen furniture into the States, specifically Texas. We design, install projects for single-family, multifamily remodels in Dallas, Houston, Austin, and that's kind of the basic. I wanted to say this makes my 38th KBIS show.
I think there's a special plaque for that.
Yeah.
Should be.
It's hanging around a bottle of something.
Yeah. Plus I'm old.
And next to Dwayne is Jeremy Parcels, Parcels Design Studio, and you are the Ballerina Kitchens distributor for North America?
Yeah. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Jeremy Parcels. I am the principal designer and owner of Parcels Design Studio. I'm also the very proud representative for Ballerina Kitchens here in the United States. I have been designing with European furniture for nearly 16 years now. And I have a passion for what it can do for our homeowners, our design aesthetics, and really everyday life throughout the whole home. I'm happy to be here with these lovely people, and not my 38th KBIS, but super happy to be up here, and a lot of really good conversation to come.
Thanks, Jeremy. And I want to start with you, because I think European kitchens, when I was first introduced as a journalist to that idea, I was wondering, they were built so robust, and with such attention to detail. I was told that that was because Europeans often will take their kitchens with them when they move.
Yes.
And now, in more recent conversations, I was being a little bit disabused of that fact. So what's the truth there with your history in this segment, Jeremy?
I mean, the truth is, in Europe, and more specifically Germany, when you buy a house, you do not necessarily buy the kitchen. The furniture doesn't always come with the house. So it's very often they will pack up their kitchen and take it with them to their next place. It is a separate part of the contract if you want to purchase the kitchen in addition to the house, which is why they're constructed slightly different and why they're able to be moved. And the modular system that Jan spoke about earlier in the very beginning stages of European furniture and how it became to be introduced into the kitchen, that was part of the reason why. So as the systems fall into place, the organization within this furniture falls into place, and everything is done very systematically. Each manufacturer is slightly different, but in general terms, they all follow a grid system. The drawer systems follow a grid system. the internal accessories follow a grid system. So this makes it very systematic when you're planning a kitchen to make it as efficient as possible.
Efficient to manufacture, efficient to install, and efficient to uninstall.
Yeah,
Ooh.
and efficient to use on a daily basis, which is the most important part, right?
Which is another aspect of sustainability, right?
Yes.
Pure efficiency of the whole thing. Did you grow up thinking the same thing, that European kitchens kind of moved with the owners when they left? Nobody? Some people? Okay. So, but in more recent conversations, is that trend changing, Jan?
Yes, I think it does, slowly, but it does, because as the kitchens are really individual to fit in your home, it is possible to deinstall them, but it's not really a wise thing to do because it will not fit in the next home. So you have to change this, and you have to, let's say, put other parts to that kitchen. So I think now we see, at least when it comes to bigger flat buildings, that there will be rented or sold within a kitchen inside. So that is the kitchen that really fits in this flat or in this home, and it stays there the long it lasts. And as I said before, it will last for quite a long time. So yes, you can remove this kitchen, of course, afterwards, but I think people tend not to do that anymore.
But the same technology developed to move your kitchen could also be utilized to repair it, to make it more future-proof. You can update the functionality of the hinges, the drawers. Alina, you told me a little bit about how your organization gets involved in actually the prototype stage of some of the functional hardware.
Yeah.
You brought up an interesting point. I thought, okay, you could replace the hardware if you need to keep but you started talking about replacing even parts of the hardware. Tell me a little bit more about where that's going.
Yeah, correct. We could see it already now in this new design phase, Ecodesign, no? In the frames of this movement, let's say, a new vision. The companies, the manufacturers, they're really trying to introduce this repairability, the best in best way. So I indeed see more and more often in our laboratories, by testing the hinges, for example, that I mentioned before, which indeed could be repaired if something is missing. So you just take one part out and then you put one part back, and it's not a big deal. You don't use a lot of material. And in best case, this part is even recyclable in the end. So that's what you do, no? So you don't throw away anymore the piece of furniture out if something broke, if the door is not anymore opening, or the drawer is not anymore going so smoothly inside, you just replace it or repair. And that's indeed the trend right now, and it's very fun to see also. And and there now, indeed, we also involve ourselves in this design phase. So the companies are actually coming to us in the design phase, showing basically the project, the prototype. Okay, that's how we plan it. What do you think? Because our experts, they could look at it and say, okay, what could be wrong if we test it according to the standards that are out there? Yeah, so is there a possibility with this new mechanism, especially like electrified, for example, components when it moves with the extra power, and so that our kids are not, how you say, squeeze out their fingers in between, right? So that there is no danger. And I mean, the design is crazy right now. Sometimes we have the hinges and the opportunities where the whole complete piece of furniture is moving basically like this, and I mean, you could really hurt yourself if it's not working well. And that's, of course, manufacturers don't want that. That's no, they want to save their brand, they want to be safe, but still they want to be daring, and create something new. yeah, and that's why they ask us already on that phase, because then of course it's a waste, right? Waste of materials, waste of time. If you make the whole concept, already build it up, adjust your manufacturing process for that, and then you come for tests and certification to us, and we say, oh, sorry, that doesn't work. That's dangerous. We cannot approve this. And yeah, so that's why we do it now. That's our way. That's why I said we are partners, right? So we want to involve, we want to support the manufacturers from beginning on.
Yeah, and there's something also about the efficiency of the space of the functional hardware in a European-style kitchen. I have a small booth of materials right there, the material intelligence booth, and I was talking to somebody about European kitchens versus traditional American kitchens, and he was telling me, this is the only thing I need to tell people. Actually, I just show it to him. He pulls out a traditional 15-inch drawer from an American, quote-unquote, American kitchen, and can lay the entire 15-inch drawer inside of the 15-inch drawer of a European-style kitchen and close it. So there's that much more space efficiency. Mm-hmm. But Dwayne, you know, we're kind of focused on the functionality and hardware. Since you're an installer, what is it about the European-style kitchens that make your job a bit easier?
I think a big part of it is kind of like Jan and Alina were talking about, and Jeremy also, things are very systematized, if that's a right word. So there is a process and a system to do everything, from attaching the cabinet to the wall to making a filler fit against the carcass correctly, the cabinet correctly. So that's all been well thought out. And once you kind of get in that rhythm, it becomes much simpler because you have to do less thinking. And I don't mean that bad. I just mean it's mapped out for you. You figure out how to fit this kitchen in this space, this room. And so that's what I really appreciate about the furniture is how well it's thought out.
Yeah, everything seems to be, I use the term future-proofed, but is there thinking that goes into this that, hey, if I need to update functionality, or, you know, the conversations now are aging in place, mm-hmm. You know, is it easier with a European-style kitchen to update it, not just cosmetically, but actual functionally?
Yes, that's what we touched upon before. It is quite easy, I would say, to replace special items of the kitchen and replace it by new technology. When it comes to drawers, for example, they help you to pull it out, for example, with some energy behind. So this is, let's say, quite a good example where you have, let's say, an old mechanism and replace it by a new one with motorized support, for example. This is quite easy because you have your fixed dimensions and then you can fix your new system inside the drawer, for example, and then have quite a new system without changing the whole kitchen. So this is, I think, quite a good example for an advantage of this kind of technology that is so systemized, as you said before.
I'm being given the signal that it's time for questions and answers. Does anybody have any questions about what we've been talking about up here? The design, the functionality, the sustainability of European kitchens? I mean, I think there's one thing. Oh, I've got a question right down front. Thank you.
Thank you. I use the metric system, and I studying cabinet making this semester, and I am struggling with the inches and feet and all this. How do you do that with the European, German system, metric system, fitting into the US system?
Well, we really start with some cheat sheets. I've been teaching people to do this for a long time. Usually we break down the most common sizes that we use in European kitchen furniture, which would be 40 centimeters, 60 centimeter, 80 centimeter, 100, 120, and I have those converted on a cheat sheet. But the biggest thing that you need to understand is 25.4.
Yeah.
Okay? So inches divided by 25.4 gives you answers in millimeters, and vice versa. And so eventually, when you work with enough, when I'm working in metric, I stay in metric. When I'm working in Imperial, I stay in Imperial. And as you're going through it, your mind starts to relate 1,200 millimeters to 48 inches. Is it exactly? No. But space-wise, your brain can understand the concept of 48 equals 1,200. So just like we know how big a foot is, eventually you learn how big 1,200 millimeters is.
Could I answer?
Yeah, hop in.
I just wanted to add what I call them bilingual tape measures.
Yeah.
So we use a tape measure with imperial measurements and metric. And that way, if you're learning, you have both right there. 60 centimeters is 23/5/8.
And just make sure you buy the one that has measurements on both sides.
Yes.
Because then when you flip your tape over, you'll be on the proper side of the measurement.
That's right.
Thanks, guys. Somebody was telling me as far as, the fit and finish, was it you, Jeremy, that some of these cabinets have like a 6-way adjustment?
Yeah, the majority of European kitchen furniture uses some form of extremely adjustable drawer system like the Bloom Legra box, which is adjustable in several different positions so that you can get it level, straight, plumb with the front of the box very easily. It makes the installer's job much easier. And they're also all detachable fronts. So if you do have a problem where a front gets damaged or arrives damaged, it is simply 2 simple turns of a bracket, pop the front off, put a new front on. And what Jan was saying earlier, that also makes it very easy to update the look in your kitchen without having to replace every single box, which gets back to the eco-friendly idea behind the system.
Yeah.
Right. Any other questions about the metric imperial system? One more?
I have a question. Wow. I have a question about the American market and aesthetic, because I am also a German cabinet dealer and designer. And I love modern, absolutely love it, as do a lot of the people in my market. But there's the other half that believe in making cookies with grandma in a kitchen that's 100 years old and has no technology. How do you overcome that? Because we were talking earlier about how today's grandmas don't look like the grandmas of 100 years ago baking cookies.
Yeah.
So how do you as a designer and someone selling this, talk to your potential customers about the difference between the American and European style kitchens in terms of specifically, that the innovation and the functionality and all these things are good, because the kitchen of 100 years ago, it makes workflow harder. Mm-hmm. Is there an easy way? Like, why do Americans continue to want that 100-year-old kitchen that does nothing for them to make life easier?
Why do we still want all plywood boxes when they waste a ton of natural resources and energy? Yeah. There are various ways that I approach it. I really have kind of 2 ways that I go about it. One you started with was the design side and the aesthetics. Many of European manufacturers, specifically German, not only offer contemporary design, but they also have plenty of traditional design, raised panel, shaker style, natural wood veneers. These are all very common materials within our industry, but they're done more intelligently, where they're over MDF, or we use furniture board that does have some waterproof properties to it. Everything is completely sealed with, PPE edge banding, which is what most of us use, that makes the product virtually waterproof. So that's how I kind of start attacking the whole conversation about plywood. It is a more sustainable product, and our cabinets are not sitting on the floor. They are an adjustable plinth feet versus a notch toe kick that's sitting on the floor with shims. Well, what's more secure, a cabinet sitting on a bunch of cheap shims or on adjustable legs? Well, that's an easy answer. The other thing is, when you talk about grandma making cookies, grandma's different now, right? Grandma has tattoos, she's got pink hair, she's probably wearing combat boots. Like, this is the world we live in nowadays, and I love it. But at the same time, the modern kitchen, modern as in up-to-date, as in current, is more functional as we are either older or younger, because we can design within their capabilities. whether it's pullouts or different height work surfaces, is very important. Something we're seeing in our market a lot, again, is multi-generational households or height differences. Because of the plinth system and the way that we have the adjustable legs, it can apply to everybody in the house. In our house, if we have, my 15-year-old cooking with me and then grandma in there too, there are multiple heights to work on. So it does make it easier on grandma. And that's just in the kitchen. That doesn't even have to do with the laundry or the wardrobe. Laundries, quite often, we're raising the washers and dryers. We have pull-out platforms underneath so you can simply take your clothes and drop them in the laundry basket. So it really is about improving the quality of life throughout the home in both function and in design.
I'm hearing also that because appliances are changing, that the 100-year-old kitchen just is going to be completely extinct unless you still have a wood-burning stove, et cetera, et cetera. And just a word on efficiencies, too. I forgot to mention, the systematized way of designing and building with German kitchens, European kitchens, the material dimensions that come out of the factories, the technology that processes it into cabinets and cabinet doors is very, very streamlined, very, very low energy compared to more traditional ways of making kitchens. And there was some NKBA research that came out about a year ago now about how the design community is looking for a way to talk about sustainability to their client base. And low toxicity materials, low flow faucets, LED lighting. Well, now with European style kitchens, we can talk about very efficiently produced components. We can talk about composite wood cores that allow us to use 99% of the harvested tree, versus in a 100-year-old kitchen, we could use about a third or maybe half of a tree as we cut it down. So there are many different ways to kind of approach the eco-design conversation, but maybe one more question of your choosing this time.
One more quick one.
Quick one. We'll be hanging around on the side for a little bit, too, if you have other questions. Well, if no more questions, thank you so much for your time. We hope this was enlightening. This topic hasn't gone away for 40 years. I don't expect it to go away next week. So thanks again.